Papaya, papaya, and papaya once again. What's up, 23% Nation? This is your man, Coach D. Ladies and gentlemen, today I'm back with fruit of the day, the one and only papaya. So maybe you love papaya, maybe you've actually pulled a papaya from a papaya tree, or maybe you've never heard of it and maybe you just dislike it. Well, whatever the case may be, please listen and watch on. Why? Because we're about to dive just a little deeper into the wonderful world of the papaya. All right, first up, just a little bit of background information. The papaya, also known as pawpaw or pawpaw, is a tropical fruit that is native to Mexico, of all places, and northern South America. Interesting. Papayas are an especially interesting fruit because their trees actually come in three sexes. What, Coach D? Did you just say three sexes? Oh, yes. Believe it or not, there is a male version, a female version, and then there is a hermaphrodite version, basically meaning that it contains both male and female parts or properties. Yes. However, only the hermaphrodite plant produces the papaya fruit, while the other two kinds, meaning the male and female, produce trees, leaves, and seeds, but not the edible fruit we know as papaya. So there you have it, guys. Not only is this background information, but for me, it's also very interesting information. Wow. Who knew the papaya came in three different versions? Male, female, and hermaphrodite. All right, now it's time for a few fun facts. Good old Christopher Columbus was known to call the papaya the fruit of the angels. There are two main varieties of this fruit. There is the Mexican variety, and then we have the Hawaiian type. The Mexican type can grow up to 10 pounds in size, whereas the Hawaiian one is generally smaller. Now, in case you're wondering what in the world are the physical differences between the Hawaiian and the Mexican type, well, just take a look at the picture. You see the very large one, the one that's a little long? Well, that would be the Mexican variety, whereas the shorter, smaller version would be the Hawaiian version. Also, a ripe papaya has orange skin that gives a little when pushed. Now, I thought I would offer you that information because a lot of people, when they're in the grocery store or in the farmer's market, they may not know when a papaya is ripe, right? So I thought I would offer you that. So guys, if you're in the grocery store or in the farmer's market and you're wondering if you should purchase that papaya, or maybe you purchased it already and now it's sitting on your kitchen counter and you're wondering when in the world can you eat it? Well, just take a look at the skin. Is it orange? And when you press on it, does it give just a little bit? Well, then it's ripe. So there we have it, guys. Just a few fun facts about the one and only papaya. All right, now it's time for the not so fun facts. Papaya may cause allergic reactions in people allergic to latex. Papayas and other fruits contain a substance called, now there are a few different ways in which you can pronounce this next word. One way is chitinase, another way is chitinase, and there may be a third and maybe even a fourth way to pronounce it. But for this lecture, we're going to stick with chitinase, which is associated with cross reactions between latex and fruit. Green papaya contains the most potential for allergic reactions and should not be eaten raw. Also, many people wonder, can dogs eat papaya? Now that's a very good question, especially if you have a dog. While the fruit itself can be a tasty treat for your furry friends, be sure to cut it into small pieces and avoid letting them eat the seeds to prevent digestive issues. So there we have it, guys. We now know whether or not we should allow our dogs, our pets, our loved ones to eat good old papaya. Now, believe it or not, I decided to include a little more not so fun facts in this lecture. Why? Because I thought this was very important. So please listen on. Additionally, this fruit is vulnerable to a few widespread viruses and fungi, including a variety of papaya ringworm that ruins the plant's fruit. In an effort to combat this problem, researchers began conducting experiments on the seeds to see if genetically altering them could provide protection against these harmful viruses. Researchers were successful in creating a strand of genetically modified GMO papaya seeds that were more resilient to pests, and bacteria. In turn, they produce rainbow papaya and sun up papaya, two varieties that now make up 80% of the papaya grown in Hawaii, one of the world's biggest producers. There are several health concerns associated with GMO crops, ranging from allergic reactions to antibiotic resistance, so opt for non-GMO fruit whenever possible. Now, some of us have probably heard of the dangers of consuming GMOs. Well, in the case of the papaya, just simply look for the label. Take a look at the picture. As you can see, this particular papaya fruit is aptly labeled. That's right. It has a label. Actually, it has two labels. One says GMO and the other one says viral gene added. So if you are at all concerned about consuming GMOs, always make sure what type of papaya you're consuming. So if you are concerned, you may want to ask the manager of the grocery store or the farmer's market if it's a rainbow papaya or a sun up papaya. Always remember that those are the two varieties that contain the altered gene. So there we have it, guys. A few more not so fun facts about the one and only papaya. All right, now it's time to dive into the 520 rule. Ladies and gentlemen, the 520 rule is all about food labels. Yes, it's a guide. It's a guide that lets us know whether or not a food item is a good source or not a good source of any particular nutrient. Now, when we talk about the 520 rule, ultimately we're talking about percent daily value, abbreviated percent DV. Now let's take a look at our sample food label. As you can see, our sample food label is divided primarily into three parts. We have the yellow portion, we have the blue portion, and then we have the lavender portion. Let's take each portion separately. First, let's focus on the lavender portion where it says percent daily value. Notice that percent DV is represented as a percentage sign. That's right. So basically, this can range from as low as 0% to as high as 100%. Now let's focus on the yellow part. The yellow basically represents nutrients that do the body a lot of harm. As a matter of fact, when consumed in excess, these nutrients do a really good job at promoting disease within the body temple. So when it comes to nutrients such as total fat, saturated fat, trans fat, cholesterol, and sodium, well, you definitely want to make sure that these nutrients are at the lower end of the 520 rule percentage scale. If anything, you want to make sure that they are as close to zero as possible. Now, when we take a look at the light blue nutrients, well, those nutrients such as dietary fiber, vitamin A, vitamin C, iron, and calcium, well, they basically do just the opposite of the yellow nutrients. Rather than promote disease, they promote health, they promote wellness within the body temple. So if anything, you want to make sure that the percent DV for those nutrients are at the higher end of the scale. Now, what I would like to do is expand on the 520 rule just a little bit, only because the 520 rule, in my opinion, is a little too simple. So here we go. If a food item offers anywhere from 0% to 9% DV of any particular nutrient, then that food item is not a good source of that particular nutrient. Next, if the food item offers 10% to 19% DV of any particular nutrient, then that food item is a good source of that particular nutrient. Lastly, if the food item offers 20% DV or more, then that food item is an excellent source of that particular nutrient. So there we have it, guys, the ins and outs about the 5-20 rule. All right, now it's time to dive into the nutrition facts. Now, for today's talk, we're going to simply say that a single serving of papaya is equal to 1 cup of raw papaya. So when we eat 1 cup of raw papaya, this is what we're putting into our bodies. 54.6 calories, not a lot, 13.7 grams of carbs, and check this out, 0.9 grams of protein. Now, a lot of people think fruit doesn't contain protein. Well, there you have it. It's only a myth. Fruit does contain protein. Also, 0.2 grams of fat. Now, here's the really good part, is that this single cup of raw papaya is going to provide you with 2.5 grams of dietary fiber. Nice. Also, when it comes to vitamin C, look at this, 144% DV. Now, based on the 5-20 rule, any food item having greater 20% DV or higher is considered an excellent source, right? So what that simply means is that a single cup of papaya is going to give you all the vitamin C that you need for an entire day and then some. Next up is vitamin A coming in at 31% DV, excellent source. Then we have folate, which is one of our B vitamins, coming in at 13% DV, good source. Then we have potassium coming in at 10% DV, good source. Next up is vitamin E, coming in at only 5% DV, not a good source. And lastly is vitamin K, coming in at only 5% DV, not a good source. So there we have it, guys, the nutrition facts about papaya. All right, now it's time to focus on the health benefits. But before we do, I want to offer you just a little something special. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I really want to talk with you about the principle of cause and effect. Now, you may have heard of it. Great, maybe you haven't. Well, it's one of the 7 Hermetic principles, and it basically states that every cause has its effect, and every effect has its cause. There really is no such thing as chance and or luck. In other words, everything happens for a reason. So, if you're looking to promote health and total wellness within your body temple, well, believe it or not, you gotta cause it. Now, it's the same thing for disease, illness, and sickness. If you want those things, then you have to put the wrong things in your body. Ultimately, what I'm saying is that the health benefits are the effects, whereas the nutrient contents are the causes. So once again, if you want to be healthy, it's easy. Eat more papaya. And when you do, this is what will happen. It promotes proper digestion. Now, there is a special phytochemical, right, that papaya has. It's called papain. Now, this particular phytonutrient is amazing because it has a lot of different functions, and you'll see its name will come up once again. And you know, Coach D, I always got to give love to the little nutrients no one knows about, right? What else does papaya do? It soothes inflammation, it strengthens the blood, it enhances heart health. Say thank you to vitamin C for that. It also may have anti-cancer properties. Say hello to papain for that. Not only say hello, but say thank you. Also, papaya can prevent macular degeneration. Now, there are 3 phytonutrients that I want to give a little special recognition to. Why? Because they help prevent macular degeneration. Beta-carotene, lutein, and zeaxanthin. That's right. Also, papayas, they help prevent asthma. Say thank you to vitamin A. Also, papaya slows signs of aging. In other words, they keep you looking youthful for long periods of time. Now, there are 3 phytonutrients that we have to say thank you to. Vitamin C, vitamin A, and good old flavonoids. And lastly, papaya, what does it do? It fights viral infections. And once again, papain's name rises to the top once again. So there we have it, guys. Lots and lots of health benefits from eating papaya. All right, now it's time to talk about food, but this time real food. Now, ladies and gentlemen, my regular website for everything vegan is forksoverknives.com. But for today, I thought I'd switch it up just a little bit and introduce you to onegreenplanet.com. Now, as usual, I did my research, came across two amazingly vegan, delicious papaya recipes that I want to share with you right now. So the first one is roasted peaches, puffed quinoa, and papaya cashew cream parfait. Take a look at that picture. Looks yummy. Now, our second recipe is bulgur with papaya and pomegranate. Take a look at that picture. Looks scrumptious. Now, if you're like me, your mouth is probably watering and you're probably hungry. So, all you have to do is go to the description box, click on the link, and it'll take you directly to each recipe. That's right, guys. I'm providing you with great information. Now, here's the thing. When you get to the site, you're going to notice a lot of stuff. It's going to give you the cooking time, it's going to give you the instructions, and of course, it's going to hook you up with the ingredients. So please, if you're so inclined, make them, taste them, come back to the video, and let Coach D know exactly how they taste. So there we have it, guys. Not one, but two amazingly delicious vegan papaya recipes from onegreenplanet.com. All right, 23% Nation, I hear you. A lot of you say, well, Coach D, thanks for the papaya recipes. Coach D, I really enjoyed learning about the fun facts as well as the not so fun facts, right? But what I really want to know is, when should I eat more papaya? Well, if that's your question, then the perfect day, and I do mean the perfect day to eat more papaya, is Nature Day. What? Nature Day? Yes, good old Nature Day. Guys, Nature Day is the first day of the 23% challenge. Now, maybe you've been living under a rock and you've never heard of the challenge before. Well, guys, the 23% challenge is basically a monthly 7-day wellness program that is designed to help improve your health, your wealth, as well as your relationships. Oh, and by the way, it also helps to save good old planet Earth. Now, here's the thing. The challenge is the first 7 days of every single month. Yes, the first all the way through the 7th. Now, Nature Day is the first day of the challenge, which basically means Nature Day is the first day of every month. So, whether it's October 1st, November 1st, or even December 1st, it's always Nature Day. Now, a lot of us may be intrigued. A lot of us may say, well, Coach D, I want to know more about Nature Day. Well, guys, Nature Day is all about getting closer to nature, right? Now, there are lots of things that you can do to get closer to nature. You can go to a zoo and pet and look at the animals. You can go skinny dipping in the ocean. You can even take a nature walk, right? But for the sake of the 23% challenge, Nature Day is all about eating nature. That's right, guys. It's time for us to eat more plants. Now, maybe you're the type of person who is considering eating more plants. Maybe you're the type of person that's considering transitioning to a whole food plant-based diet. Or maybe you're the type of person that's stricken with the big four and you need to make some dietary changes, right? So, if you are obese, if you have heart disease, if you have cancer, or maybe you have diabetes, I believe I'm about to provide you with a very simple solution that can help get you on the road to a life of total wellness. Guys, I want to introduce you to a 3% vegan, a 13% vegan, as well as a 23% vegan. So, what's the difference? Here we go. A 3% vegan is anyone, man, woman, or child, who only eats plant foods and drinks only water only 1 day out of an entire month. Next up is a 13% vegan. That's any person, man, woman, or child, who only eats plant foods and drinks only water only 4 days out of an entire month. Now, there are two ways in which you can go about this. You could do the first 4 days of the month, or providing the month has 4 weeks, you could do 1 day per week. You pick the day, it really doesn't matter. Lastly is a 23% vegan. Now, technically, that's what Coach D considers himself to be. So now the question is, what exactly does Coach D eat during the first 7 days of every single month? Well, guys, I only eat from the 5 food groups of plant foods. So what are those? Here they are. Number 1, all fruits. Number 2, all vegetables and herbs. Number 3, all legumes, meaning beans and peas. Number 4, all whole grains. And number 5, we cannot forget about good old nuts and seeds. And the only beverage that I am allowed to drink is good old water, right? So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen, the ins and outs about Nature Day. All right, now it's time for a little bit of advice. It's time for some help. It's time for Coach D's tips. Why? Because I want to help make your Nature Day successful. So, whether you're considering a 3%, 13%, or 23% vegan, I believe these 4 tips will help make your journey easier. Tip number 1, go to your local grocery store. Now, when you go, you're only going to go to 2 places. Number 1 is the produce section. Why? Because that's where all of the fresh plant foods are located. And secondly, walk on over to the frozen aisle. That's right, because believe it or not, frozen plant foods can be just as nutritious or maybe even more nutritious than their fresh counterparts. So please do not shy away from frozen vegetables and plants and fruits. Okay, they are delicious. Next up, go check out your local farmers market. Now, a lot of people may say to themselves, oh, I only want to eat organic plant foods. Or they may say, well, I don't want any pesticides or herbicides or dangerous chemicals on my plant foods, right? Well, if that's you, then a farmer's market is definitely the place to be. There are some advantages to shopping at a farmer's market over a grocery store. Well, here's the first advantage. Farmers markets only cater to the organic community. That's right. So if you're looking for organic or non-GMO, then definitely shop at a farmer's market. Also, farmers markets only sell local produce grown by local farmers, which means there's less transportation time, which means less gas, right? So perhaps that savings is passed on to you being the end consumer. Next, go to the prepared dishes section of your local grocery store. Now, while you're in the grocery store, right, I mean, you've already visited the produce section, you checked out the freezer aisle, walk on over to the prepared dishes section. Now, depending on the name of the grocery store, they may term it the kitchen. Walk on over, talk to the person behind the counter, and ask them if they have any vegan options. Not vegetarian, but vegan. Now, if you don't know what it is, but it still looks interesting, ask the person to offer you a sample, right? It's free. Now, providing you like it, go ahead and buy it either by the pound or maybe even 2 pounds. Lastly, go visit a vegan restaurant. That's right, guys. It's time for us to support the vegan community, right? So, there are lots of advantages to eating at a vegan restaurant, right? And this is especially for those of us who don't know how to cook plant foods or don't want to cook plant foods or don't have time to cook plant foods, right? Let the experts do the cooking for you. That's right, because here's the interesting thing about vegan restaurants is that generally they hire vegan chefs who know exactly how to combine plant foods to give us the most delicious, nutritious recipes. So there you have it, guys. 4 tips to help make your Nature Day successful. All right, it's time for our question of the day, which comes from yours truly and the rest of the 23% nation. We want to know which sex of the papaya tree produces the papaya fruit. Now, I believe I covered this information earlier in the video, so if you don't remember, just rewind. And now if you have the answer, just simply write it in the comment box below. Guys, I want to thank you for watching. I definitely want to thank you for listening. As always, let's eat well, feel well, think well, do well, be well. This is your man, Coach D. Now, before I sign out, I got to ask you to please like, share, and subscribe, especially if you love papaya. And don't forget to use our 3-word mantra. It's hashtag eat more plants. As stated earlier, my name is Coach D. I'm signing out, but always remember to take care, God bless, and never ever forget that Coach D loves you.